Yu Menglong's mother suddenly reveals shocking evidence that turns the entire case upside down. The entertainment world has been shaken countless times by unexpected events, but nothing could have prepared fans, the media, and even close colleagues for the stunning revelation made by Yu Menglong's mother, a revelation that has dramatically shifted the narrative surrounding the late actor's untimely departure. For weeks, the story of Yu Menglong's passing had been surrounded by grief, speculation, and unanswered questions. Rumors swirled, theories circulated, and fans desperately sought clarity, but the silence from his family left many to wonder if the truth would ever emerge. That silence was broken in a breathtaking manner when Yu Menglong's mother stepped forward with what she described as undeniable evidence that has now thrown the entire case into turmoil and reopened the discussion in ways no one anticipated. At first, her appearance seemed like yet another attempt by a grieving parent to protect her child's memory, but as soon as she spoke, those who had gathered quickly realized this was far from a simple statement of mourning. She produced documents, photographs, and even recordings that she claimed had been carefully hidden until she felt it was the right time to reveal them. Her trembling hands and tear-stained face painted a picture of a mother torn between the agony of her loss and the duty to honor her son with the truth. She declared that Yu Menglong's story was not what the public had been told, insisting that there were forces at play determined to conceal critical facts. The room grew heavy with tension, every word she spoke hitting harder than the last, each piece of evidence she shared opening yet another door to deeper mysteries. The evidence itself, according to initial reports from those present, suggests that the circumstances surrounding Yu Menglong's death were not merely tragic, but potentially manipulated. Several photographs, allegedly taken days before his passing, showed him in the company of individuals whose identities remain obscured but who, she claimed, had strong motives that the public had been kept from knowing. Alongside the photographs were written exchanges, messages that, according to her, revealed an ongoing struggle Yu Menglong had been facing behind the scenes, pressures that were never acknowledged by the official narrative. Perhaps the most unsettling of all was a short audio recording in which Yu Menglong's voice could be faintly heard, expressing fear and hesitation, his words hinting at a truth he felt he could not openly reveal at the time. The reaction was immediate and explosive. Fans who had once resigned themselves to grieving now found themselves filled with anger, confusion, and a renewed determination to uncover what really happened. Social media platforms erupted with hashtags and debates, some defending the official story, while others demanded justice. The entertainment industry, which had tried to move forward after his death, was suddenly pulled back into the whirlwind of speculation. Fellow actors, directors, and even producers who had once worked closely with Yu Menglong began issuing statements, some expressing shock at the revelations, others cautiously withholding judgment until the evidence could be fully verified. The entire case, which many thought had reached its conclusion, now seemed more alive than ever before. Yu Menglong's mother, however, made it clear that she had not come forward for fame, attention, or financial gain. Her voice cracked as she explained that she had carried the weight of silence for too long, that she could no longer bear to watch her son's memory be distorted by incomplete truths. She spoke of sleepless nights, of the countless moments when she had almost spoken out but held back, fearing that the world would not believe her. But now, she said, the pain of keeping silent had grown heavier than the risk of speaking. Her words pierced the hearts of everyone listening, for they carried not only the sorrow of a grieving parent, but also the conviction of someone who believed that her son's honor depended on the world knowing what really transpired. The press, stunned by the gravity of her revelations, immediately began pressing for details. Investigative journalists have already begun digging into the evidence, analyzing each piece of information for authenticity and possible connections to the case. Questions abound. Who are the shadowy figures in the photographs? What exactly did the messages mean, and to whom were they sent? Could the faint voice recording truly be Yu Menglong's final cry for help, or was it something taken out of context? Experts in audio forensics and digital verification are now being called upon to examine the material, while legal analysts are speculating about the possibility of reopening the case entirely. If what she revealed proves authentic, it could lead to one of the most shocking reversals in the history of celebrity cases. For the fans, though, this development is not simply about evidence. It is about the person they adored, the actor who lit up screens with his charisma and touched hearts with his performances. Yu Menglong was more than just a star. To many, he was a symbol of perseverance and hope, a man whose journey from obscurity to fame inspired countless others to pursue their dreams. To learn now that he may have been struggling in ways they never knew, to realize that his final days may not have been as peaceful as they had been led to believe, is a devastating blow. Vigils that had once been held to honor his memory are now being transformed into rallies demanding truth and accountability. Fans are uniting across the globe, sharing messages of solidarity with his mother and pledging not to rest until the full story comes to light. Within the industry, the shockwaves are even greater. Some insiders whisper about long-standing rivalries, contractual disputes, and hidden power struggles that may have played a role in the tragedy. Others insist that the industry has always been cloaked in secrecy, where appearances are carefully crafted and inconvenient truths are swept aside. Yu Menglong's case, they argue, may be the crack that exposes far deeper issues within the world of entertainment, issues that extend far beyond one individual story. Producers and studios are quietly bracing themselves, aware that if the case is reopened, questions may soon be directed at them as well. Yet amid all this chaos, one thing stands clear. Yu Menglong's mother has changed everything. By stepping forward with her evidence, she has not only reignited the case, but also forced the world to reconsider the narrative it had so readily accepted. Whether her claims ultimately prove accurate or not, her actions have reminded everyone of the human cost behind the headlines. She is not a public figure or a celebrity, but her courage in speaking out has made her a central character in this unfolding drama. The sight of her clutching her son's photograph while revealing the evidence has already become an iconic image, one that will be remembered long after the dust settles. The coming days will be critical. Investigations will intensify, fans will demand answers, and the truth, whatever it may be, will slowly come into focus. For now, all anyone can do is wait, hope, and continue to honor the memory of Yu Menglong. His story, once thought to be over, is still being written, and with his mother's shocking revelations, it has taken a turn that no one could have foreseen. What remains certain is that the world will be watching closely, unwilling to let this case fade away into silence once again. And perhaps that is the greatest legacy of this revelation, the reminder that truth has a way of surfacing, even when it is buried under layers of doubt and deception. For Yu Menglong, whose life touched millions, his mother's act of courage may ensure that his final chapter is not one of. Just when the world thought the storm had calmed, Yu Menglong's mother's revelation has proven that this is not the end of the story. It is only the beginning of a new chapter filled with heartbreak, suspicion, and the burning pursuit of justice. The evidence she presented has become the center of global discussion, with fans and experts alike dissecting every photo, every message, and every whispered word from the haunting audio recording. What once seemed like a tragedy explained away by vague official statements has now spiraled into a larger mystery that continues to unfold before the public eye. In the days following her announcement, international media swarmed the story. Reporters camped outside her home, analysts debated on primetime broadcasts, and social platforms overflowed with theories. Some fans claimed to recognize the figures in the blurred photographs she shared, linking them to known industry insiders. Others insisted the recordings were proof that Yu Menglong had sensed danger looming over him. Whether these claims are fully accurate or not, one thing is certain: the world refuses to let the case fade into silence again. What makes this revelation even more fascinating is the way it has reawakened the emotions of millions who adored Yu Menglong. Fans who once lit candles in his memory now carry banners demanding transparency, their voices louder and more unified than ever. Vigils have transformed into movements, and what began as mourning has evolved into a quest for truth. The tears shed in sorrow are now joined by tears of anger, disbelief, and determination. This isn't just about remembering a beloved actor anymore. It's about fighting for the dignity of his name. Inside the entertainment industry, whispers have grown into nervous chatter. Several colleagues who once remained silent have begun hinting that Yu Menglong's struggles were deeper than fans ever knew. Though no one has dared to directly confirm or deny the mother's claims, the tension is palpable. Directors speak of a young star caught between conflicting pressures, while some co-stars quietly admit he carried a weight that rarely showed on screen. It seems as though the truth has always been there, just hidden beneath the glittering lights of fame, waiting for someone brave enough to pull it into the open. And that bravery came from none other than his mother. Her voice, quivering yet unwavering, has become the rallying cry of millions. Every parent watching can feel the depth of her loss. Every fan can sense the raw pain in her words, and every journalist knows that this case is unlike any other. She has turned her grief into a weapon of truth, her sorrow into a force of change, and in doing so, she has become a symbol of resilience that inspires all who listen. But as her revelations echo across the world, new questions begin to emerge. Will the authorities reopen the investigation? Will the industry be forced to face uncomfortable truths long buried? And most importantly, what more might she reveal if pushed further? For if she has carried this much evidence in silence, could there be even more that has not yet seen the light of day? The continuation of this story feels less like a conclusion and more like the unraveling of a vast web of hidden struggles, unanswered questions, and long-suppressed truths. And fans, rather than stepping back, are diving deeper into the search for answers. Online communities have launched independent investigations, sharing details, cross-referencing timelines, and analyzing every clue released so far. The passion of Yu Menglong's supporters has transformed them into detectives, their love for him fueling an unstoppable wave of inquiry. Yet in the middle of this storm, one thing remains constant: the deep love the world still holds for Yu Menglong. Despite the chaos, despite the uncertainty, his fans continue to celebrate his work, rewatching his dramas, sharing clips of his most emotional performances, and holding on to the laughter and tears he gave them. His legacy remains untouched by the confusion. If anything, it has grown stronger. Because now, he is no longer just remembered as an actor, but as a symbol of truth, resilience, and the eternal bond between a mother and her son. And this is where the audience plays a role. As this story continues to unfold, as more details come to light, it is vital for fans and followers to stay connected, to stay updated, and to stay united. That is exactly why K-Romance Central is here. Not only to bring you the latest updates on this heartbreaking and captivating story, but also to celebrate the dramas, stars, and unforgettable moments that connect us all. By joining our community, you become part of a movement that refuses to let the truth fade into shadows, part of a family that stands together through both joy and sorrow. So if you, like millions of others, feel the pull of this story, if you want to know what new evidence may surface, if you want to be among the first to hear when the case takes another turn, if you want to keep Yu Menglong's memory alive while also celebrating the stars and stories that brighten our screens, then don't wait. Subscribe to K-Romance Central today. Together, we will follow this journey, not as bystanders, but as witnesses to history in the making. Every click, every share, every subscription is more than just support. It is a voice joining the chorus of those demanding truth. It is a candle lit for Yu Menglong in the digital space, a promise that his story will not be forgotten, and a commitment to honor the courage of his mother, who dared to speak when silence was easier. This is not the end of the road. It is only the beginning of a movement that will echo for years to come. So, let us walk this path together. Let us uncover the truth, celebrate the stars we love, and continue building a community where stories like these are not just heard but remembered forever. Subscribe, stay tuned, and let's make sure Yu Menglong's legacy shines brighter than ever. Because in the end, truth cannot be hidden and love cannot be silenced.